Good morning.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Morning,
Thank you so
morning.
much for having me.
Yeah, just going to do a quick intro. So, hello, I'm Julie. You're watching the Wellness Movement, and it is featured on Spanglish World and Her Network on Zingo TV channels 250 and 251. Remember to download the Zingo TV app from your app store. It's free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire and Fire Sticks, Roku and Roku Sticks on all smart TVs from 2016 forward. All right, here we are.
Here we are.
So my guest today is Karen MacKenzie, who is a client / partner, business partner. So I think where I want to start is what you were dealing with before we met.
Right. So I am a middle-aged mom of 2 young kids. I had kids later in life. So I'm 46 now and I have a 2-year-old. So I was dealing with young kids at an older age and I had a lot of postpartum fatigue. And I'd been to my doctor and she told me that I had postpartum depletion. And I also, she said postpartum burnout. And I also struggle with anxiety and depression. And so I also had, sort of a flare up of those conditions, sort of postpartum depression, you could say. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so that's sort of where I was. And I had seen a nutritionist, I'd seen my doctor, but none of the suggestions were really helping. I did take a low dose of antidepressants, sort of begrudgingly, and that sort of helped with the really extreme anxiety, but I had a lot of fatigue. And, it was suggested we'll go to the gym or, cook these meals, but I really didn't have the energy to even go to the gym. I did get a membership, but sometimes I would get in the car, go there, drop my toddler off at the child care center and just sort of have a coffee and then drive home. So I just didn't have the energy to do the things that could help me. So I really needed a leg up. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of where I was when I met you.
Aha. Yes. And then you embarked on I guess you did the Daily Core 4 to start.
Yeah, I was really drawn to green drinks, and I had been taking a green drink from a different company, and a friend of mine who's a nutritionist sort of suggested that it wasn't very good quality. And so that sort of sparked some curiosity in me, and I did some research, and I realized, yeah, it wasn't very good quality. It wasn't organic. It didn't have really great ingredients. It had sugars. And so I reached out to you because I had seen that you were offering this really amazing green drink with living enzymes, and it was organic and non-GMO. And so we started a conversation, and I found that just integrating a green drink, and a couple other things in the Core 4 really helped me, because, I didn't have the energy to even make a bowl of oatmeal with, my goji berries and everything and walnuts. And so this just sort of replenished me and gave me enough energy that I could sort of help myself.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, what do you think, like, most moms are probably struggling with out there?
Well, I think it's different for everybody. But I do believe from my personal case, I did sort of extended breastfeeding and I was doing attachment parenting. And so I was very burnt out. And that's one thing that, I didn't feel like I had a lot of support with, is that when you're nursing and you're pregnant, you're sort of like giving all of your nutrition to your babies. Mm-hmm. And so I sort of feel like that fatigue a lot of the time comes from nutrient depletion. And then also because I'm running after kids and I have picky eaters at home, I'm eating chicken nuggets or, I'm eating frozen pizzas and cookies and just, finger food that's around. And so I'm not really restoring my energy levels or my nutrient levels. And so I found that I think a lot of moms are just really tired. and overwhelmed and not eating well because they're sort of, I would love to make a Buddha bowl with quinoa and roasted veggies, but that's not going to work with the kids. So then you make a grilled cheese and then you just eat the leftovers. So I think sort of it's about being tired, it's about being overwhelmed, and it's sort of just doing what's convenient and what's on the go.
Right. Yeah, but when you mention chicken fingers, I think very low nutrients.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
And also from a gut health standpoint, not very helpful, which if for anybody who's watching, if you don't know, most of your serotonin actually is in your gut. And so if your gut is not working properly, then your mood is going to be off big time. Then on top of that, if you just pile stresses, the day-to-day stuff that's going on, of course, it's between what's happening on the nutritional side and what's happening on the stress side. It's no wonder that most moms are overwhelmed and completely depleted.
Yeah.
So definitely the Core 4 nutrition pack is a way to kind of at least bring some good nutrition into the body and start to change the cycle. So for yourself, like what did you notice after a month?
Well, I noticed a big shift. So when I first started, I was so tired that even loading the dishwasher was really, it felt like a marathon. I had to sort of like give myself pep talks about just like, you can do it. And by the end of the month, we have a trampoline in the backyard. And I was out there with my two kids, jumping up and down. I had so much more joy. So yeah, there was just a really big shift. There was a big shift in energy and a big shift in mood as well. And also one thing in the Core 4 is the apothecary, which helps with sleep. So I was also, once I started the Core 4, I started having deeper, more restful sleeps. Mm-hmm. And I think that was really key to sort of wake up feeling refreshed. Right. And so then, when you wake up after a good night's sleep, I'm more focused. I have more clarity, just more optimism. So it was really, quite a shift. And I did lose some weight and whatnot, but that really wasn't where my focus was. I just wanted to sort of feel like my old self again, pre-babies, and I do feel like I'm getting back there.
Right. Well, that's really cool. So, I mean, what would your advice be for moms who are feeling depleted and overwhelmed and just like up to here?
Yeah, well, that's why I like the Core 4, because it's just, you just add a shake, man. And this is the other thing, is that there's the ultimate lifestyle transformation, which is sort of like this 30-day huge transformation, like, restrict your eating and whatnot. That was too overwhelming for me where I was with running after the two kids and so forth. So the Core 4 is just add it. You don't need to manage your recipes. Just start by adding the shake. And then as you change your, internal chemistry, you're going to start to crave those things. And then it's just a lot easier because you're naturally reaching for better stuff. Mm-hmm. So my advice would be just start with the shake. Just have the shake, have the Biomedic. Just, it's such an easy add. And then from there, the shifts sort of happen naturally. Yeah. So it's not overwhelming at all. Yeah. I didn't think.
So, I mean, what we're talking about, the Core 4, it's actually 4 different products. It's Biomedic, it's Power Shake, it's the aminos, it's the apothecary. And a lot of times when I'm working with people, it's better off to add things than to focus on getting rid of stuff. And usually as soon as you change the fuel you're putting into your body, what happens is, because you're working on your gut and you're adding slightly different fuel in the form of the Power Shake, your microbes actually start to crave healthier food, because everything is driven by the gut, right? Gut the gut is the be all and the end all when it comes to health. All disease begins in the gut. And unfortunately, in North America, we're used to a lot of processed foods, a lot of processed sugar, a lot of processed meats, lots of meat and dairy. And all of those things are highly damaging to the gut. So, and a lot of people are super addicted to those foods, you know?
Yeah, and it was really interesting because I had tried other things. Like I had gone to the expensive health food store and I had gotten the expensive, Mama and Me multivitamin, and I had gotten the expensive probiotics and the vitamin D and all that. And those things didn't make a difference. And so I'm not a scientist, but I'm sort of curious. Like I don't know why exactly, but Biomedic was so much more effective than like a probiotic that I might get at, Whole Foods or something. And
Well,
shake has just been such, it had such a more profound effect than like a multivitamin. Even a super expensive, made from plant sourced multivitamin. So that was another thing, is that I had exhausted all possibilities before I started the Core 4. I had tried all the things and none of them worked as well as this.
yeah, well, I mean, I can speak to that on the nutritional side. So on the nutrition side, the difference is that the Power Shake is made from whole foods.
Mm-hmm.
They are dehydrated whole foods. So what you get is a powder, but as soon as you add water to it, it's a raw living juice, which is why I always tell everybody, please drink it within 20 minutes so that you get all the enzymes and all the nutrients intact and your body can actually absorb them. And with Biomedic, what you're doing is you're removing the heavy metals, the chemical toxins that are in your body, and repairing the lining of the gut. And it functions as a pre and a probiotic. What a lot of people do not understand about probiotics is they go right through your system. They don't hang out. So it's almost useless. I would say 99% of the time it is useless to take probiotics, especially if you're not changing what you're putting in your mouth. Because the microbes in your gut feed on what you're eating. And if you're eating poorly, you can take probiotics till the sun goes down and it ain't going to make an ounce of difference. So,
well, you know what's a really key piece here is that I had a naturopath also, top grade, top of the line naturopath, and I had been seeing him for years and years. And the last time I saw him, he told me, he'd always help me, but the last time I saw him, he said, "There is nothing I can do for you unless you change what you're eating." And I just thought, oh my God, because I've been diagnosed with food sensitivities like sugar and dairy and wheat, basically, the usual. And I just found it at that time too stressful to not grab a sandwich, if I'm on the go, or not go through McDonald's drive-through. And so what was great about the shake is that it just sort of did the work for me. It like changed my biochemistry for me so that I just would crave different things. I didn't have to worry about, depriving myself or creating some kind of new menu plan. It just all sort of happened easily and organically and naturally.
I mean, I would also say that changing away from processed, packaged garbage foods is not depriving yourself, right? People have this programming where fed from marketing and advertising that, McDonald's is food and Apple is weird. And it's really completely the reverse. I mean, I'm here at True North Health Center, and it's become glaringly obvious to me I've always known that the food system is super messed up. So when I became a nutritionist, I had this very romantic idea that I was going to do meal plans for people. And what I've realized is I've been doing research into the food system, and it is so messed up that people have to actually get unaddicted from the garbage that they've been eating their entire life. That is just the be all and the end all. And here at True North, I can see it because I'm talking to people who are going through the program here and getting insane results, getting off medication. Yeah, like finally thriving. What people don't understand about medication, the medication isn't to cure you, it's to manage your poor diet. That's not a cure. That's not getting at anything. That's just putting a band-aid on it. It's because people are eating poorly. So, if you have high blood pressure, the high blood pressure medication is just to manage the garbage you're putting in your mouth and to manage your diet so that you don't die. Right? So, I have a very different perspective because I research this stuff all the time. I'm around it so much. Obviously, I'm here going through research myself, and it's so clear to me. Chicken nuggets, as much as someone might like them, they're not food. It's not food. So it's very easy. Dairy, we're not cows. Like, we're not baby cows, so we don't eat baby cow food. Your kids breastfeed, so your breast milk is perfect for your kids. And then once they wean to solid foods, they shouldn't need any other milk, right? It is such a cultural habit. And it is so damaging for people's health. So damaging. Not to mention the environment, which we don't really talk about on this show, but animal agriculture is the leading driver of the climate emergency. So we're literally killing ourselves with the food, and the food in quotation marks that we're making is also destroying this planet that we have. So it's a very ass backwards approach to life, So it's no wonder people are sick. It's not shocking to me. So it's 7:50 in the morning here. My little rant.
Yeah, well, it's also, here's the little bit of a trap also. You could probably speak to this, is that even if I were to get off chicken nuggets, and go to the grocery store and get some apples, so much of our produce nowadays is GMO and doesn't have the kind of nutrient density that it might have had when I was a kid. So that's why, if I get an organic apple, I go, oh, wow, this really tastes like the apples I remember as a child. Or even strawberries. Like, who doesn't like a beautiful strawberry picked from the garden, or a blackberry right off of the bush? But you get the fruit in those sort of clamshell packages at the grocery store, and those strawberries don't taste like anything. They're really gross. They're white and just hard, and that's the other thing, is that even though you could get, the Whole30 and follow the recipes and get these vegetables and fruits, they're not packing the same kind of nutrition that they used to. And that's why also supplementing with the core 4 is so helpful, because, these are non-GMO, organic, dehydrated at source, beautiful foods. And I find that they really give me the nutrition that I might not be getting from my salad that I'm getting at the local grocery store.
Yeah, there's two ways to kind of handle that. It's true that conventionally grown produce, I think something like 75 or 80% of our food supply now is GMO foods. And so the thing to do is to buy organic whenever possible. And of course, organic is a little bit pricier, but it's well worth it in terms of what you're getting in nutrition. So sometimes people are so short-sighted, they're focused on the money that's going out of their pocket instead of the health. Like, whatever you're shortchanging yourself on in terms of trying to buy the thing that's cheap, fast, and convenient is probably going to catch up to you in terms of how it's going to affect your health and how you're going to feel and whatever chronic illness you're going to be dealing with down the line, right? And the other piece of that is, yes, the foods that we're talking about, the daily core 4, is packed with tons of nutrient density. And in North America, we are used to eating lots of calories and very low nutrient density. And the root cause of all illness is lack of adequate nutrition, stress, and chemical toxicity. So, at the very least, we need to reverse that and increase nutrient density and lower the caloric load. So, I mean, one of the things that I'm seeing very clearly at True North Health Center is that um, the best diet, the ideal diet in terms of reversing chronic illness, is a whole plant food diet. And they have thousands of case studies to back them up. So you cannot argue with the science. It's unfortunate that the advertising industry and the food industry has done such a number on people that people are so hooked on convenience. But I can tell you, as someone who cooks at home and doesn't do takeout, it's very easy to make healthy, whole food meals without taking up hours of your time. It's just a matter of learning those recipes. And I mean, most of my food, most of my diet is raw. I probably only do one cooked meal a day, and that's dinner. I mean, obviously not now. Right now, I'm on day 5 of a water fast, but normally when I eat. But yeah. So it's in the food. The secret to health is in the food. And my advice to people always is, if you feel like garbage, then you need to do something different. Whatever you're eating, you need to go the total opposite way, right?
That's why I like the green drink so much, is because, like, I did see a nutritionist in my postpartum period, when I first started getting the postpartum depression and whatnot. And I was just too tired. I was too, because you say, oh, it's easy to make those really nice, comforting, organic whole meals. Honestly, it was too overwhelming for me to do that. And so that's why I'm really glad that I have the shake, because it gives me a leg up. Like, it really just gives me the mental clarity, the energy, the focus to be able to cook those recipes. Because it's, it's an embarrassing, and also it's embarrassing as a new mom, an overwhelmed mom, to say, oh, I don't have the energy. I don't know. I can't cook a squash soup, or I'm too overwhelmed to make, something really healthy for my family.
Yeah.
But that was the reality. The reality was that I was too tired. And so, and I don't think I'm alone. I think a lot of parents are overwhelmed and tired and going through Tim Hortons drive-through and just.
Well, I mean, this is specifically why we have the Core 4, right? This is why we have these foods, to help people to get the mental clarity so that they can start to make better choices instead of staying on the hamster wheel that they're on.
Yeah, and it totally is a hamster wheel, like an addiction. But it seems crazy just to talk about food like an addiction, because it is just, everyone's doing it. Like, it's just normal North American diet, right? It's just what everyone does.
But normal doesn't necessarily mean right.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, food is the most abused drug on the planet.
Right.
That is for sure. Yeah. So, and it's unfortunate. So I was going through airports on my way here to California, and there was nothing I could buy, because what I consider food and what they sell are two different things. Thankfully, I did bring the Power Shake with me. I had some in my shaker cup, like just the powder, so that I could add water. And then I had a couple of other servings that I brought in containers. And that kind of got me through my day. And finally, when I got to San Francisco Airport, I was so excited that I could buy a banana. I was like, a banana, sold.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And as parents, we think a lot about, well, at least this conversation is sort of about what I did for my energy. But, of course, I've got kids and I have to think about what I'm feeding my kids.
Mhm,
Um, and both my daughters struggled with chronic constipation.
mhm.
And there's a real strong link between chronic constipation in kids and dairy. And, so that's probably another conversation for another show.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely once I started, diving deep into this world of wellness, I realized that what we eat, especially for our kids, is so important.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I mean, dairy is also connected to asthma in kids.
Yep, been
So,
there, done that. Have the puffers.
oh dear. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got to wrap up this baby. Thanks so much for being on.
Thanks for
Um,
having me. It was really fun.
yeah, I was a little worried. I'm like, can I get up at 7? Can I be ready at 7:30 a.m. Pacific to do a show?
Well, I'm impressed because I know you haven't eaten in 5 days and you're on a water fast. So you should be congratulated. You look great. And I can't wait to see
Thanks.
where you are in a couple of weeks when you get through the whole thing.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see. So this show can be heard on Spanglish Radio Network. The Her Network is part of the Spanglish World Media Network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all news and programming. Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it.